So, Patrick, I'm looking at this Bears running game and how proficient they have been. And we all know they had their national coming out party on Black Friday against the Eagles. But that was something that did start a little bit slower. And even after it got started against the Packers the last time, they weren't able to really get big runs. I'm talking about 20-plus yard runs, like super explosives. And a lot of people would argue that Evan Williams is a large part of that because he is a run-stopping safety. He hasn't practiced all week. He's listed as questionable for the game. How big of a boon in the offense would that be if Evan Williams does not play?
I mean, that's huge. You're missing – you got to go back to Devontae Wyatt, who didn't play in the first game they played. He was injured the week before. So they did get the run game going in the second half, like you said. No Micah Parsons, and then you're losing your best run-stop safety. So I think that is huge, and I'm sure that's in Ben Johnson's plan as well. And what's nice this week, too, last week when they ran the ball against the Cleveland Browns, everything was away from Myles Garrett. Now you have a run game. You can go left or right. So I think that's a big part of it. But Evan Williams, I mean, they're missing everybody everywhere, but they're still got good players. They still have Jordan Love, and I hate to say that they still have a darn good quarterback, and that can change everything in this game. We talked a little bit off the air. What scares you is the run game of them, but also Jordan Love a little bit. But to go back to Evan Williams, you lose a safety like that. Anytime you go to a backup, that's going to make a difference. And again, Roshar and Ben Johnson, what they do with this run game is impressive, and you always like watching the game and seeing what they come up with because there's always some little different wrinkle every week.
Patrick, we all know you played for the Bears for a long time, 16 years. What was your first year?
1998.
1998. So you've been a part of a lot of Bears-Packers game. I guess my first question about it is when did Bears-Packers start to truly, genuinely
Week one, or the first time we played them.
Really, it resonated with you that early.
It was yes, it was put into our head when you got to Hallis Hall, and then I remember going to play in Green Bay. I forgot what week it was of my first year, and there was a 20-minute tape that Coach Wanstead played of all the history of the Bears-Packers. And then that's when you started to get the real feel knowing the game was the next day. And then Jeff Jager, who was our kicker at the time, said, normally the specialists or people that need to get to the game earlier, you get on bus 1. He's like, get on bus 2, because then you get to see the people tailgate more. You get to see and experience what Green Bay is like up there, and that was pretty cool. So I did get on bus 2 and saw the tailgates going on. It felt like a college atmosphere. You park in people's yards. You pay an extra $10 to be able to park and pee in their house. I mean, it was just so cool to see all this stuff, and
it's wild.
But it was right when I got there. It's ingrained in everybody that gets there, and I'm sure it's still that way because the McCaskies just make you feel that way. It's ingrained in every head coach. I mean, Ben Johnson did it in his. I mean, we talked about it the first time they played. He did it in his opening day press conference. Obviously, Lovie Smith did as well. So that's just the way it is.
Well, I heard that there was rookie programming. I'm using quotes there when I say that, but that supposedly George McCaskey does teach the rookies to hate Green Bay.
Yes.
So I feel like it's really caught on. Okay, so you went through it.
Oh, 100%. It is. It's a thing. Yes.
What,
and I still
what
do.
happens?
And my daughter does. So that's a good. You just keep passing it on.
Is there a test? Is there a test?
What goes on in this programming?
You just see all the highlights. You learn about Jim McMahon being, and the what's his name?
Charles Martin.
Charles Martin.
Yeah.
You learn about all that stuff. You see the videos of Walter Payton. You get all the history of these rivalries. The fact that Forrest Gregg and Mike Ditka hated each other. The fact they played at Milwaukee Stadium. What they were on the same sideline and they would be separated. They just couldn't stand each other. Just the history that goes all the way back to. From Lombardi to George Hallis, it's just always talked about, whether it's through video or through word of mouth.
And then I have to ask you, I would like to know the most significant games or favorite games you played against, but I imagine it's the NFC title game.
No, I've got one. I actually wrote them down this morning. I was going through some stuff. It is 2005, the year we won the NFC North.
Okay.
My daughter was born the day before.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of cool. So we're sitting there opening up Christmas gifts with my in-laws, and my wife is pregnant as can be, and she's sitting on one of those stability balls, and she looks up, and she's like, and I'm like, what? She's like, we got to go upstairs. We got to talk. I'm like, what? I'm in trouble? What did I do? And she's like, I think I'm giving birth. I'm like, but I have a game tomorrow.
Oh, my God.
But I have a game tomorrow.
And it had been talked about. She was supposed to be born a week later. And so I'm like, all right, well, we're going down to Evanston. So we went to Evanston. She gave birth. And I called Tim Brame, who was the trainer at the time. And we were playing in Green Bay. And I think it was a 325 game. He's like, well, here's the deal. We're leaving in an hour or two from Hallis Hall. You meet us up there. Tell your wife to hurry up. I'll have the doctors pick you up in the morning of game day. And they picked me up game day, drove me up to Lambeau. Obviously, my daughter was born at 8:31, I think, on Saturday night. So they drove me up Sunday morning. We went up there and we won the division. So it was pretty amazing. I had 0 sleep, and we won the game.
How did you play in that game? Like, where's your brain?
Adrenaline.
Yeah.
Straight adrenaline. That's all it was.
Because you're still on the high from the night
100%.
before.
100%. I remember getting on the bus after the game, and I used to go to the RVs and get a bag of beers like Santa and bring them on after we'd win for the guys. And I'm walking on the bus, and Dave Tobes, the special teams coach, looks at me and goes, "Man, you look like crap. Go home and get some sleep."
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that.
And he
because
never slept again.
No.
Not because you look like crap, but because there's been some questionable, we won't call them crappy performances, but we're a little concerned about Cairo Santos right now.
Yeah, it was funny. Olin texted me during the game. He's like, "Cairo looks cold." And he goes out there and misses the 35-yarder.
Oh, he
No,
called it.
Olin knew.
He's seen what cold kickers look like, and that's unfortunate. I think there's still a reason why Jake Moody was here. Mark, you might know more. I just think there's something maybe that was going on in practice and training camp or something that did not make them feel secure, that they needed somebody else. And this might be showing up a little bit. You know, he missed the bad dirty kick a couple weeks ago. He missed the 35-yarder. I love that Coach Hightower is just honest. Like, we can't have that. We cannot miss that. Snap hold was good. We cannot have that. And maybe that's when they did the whole Jake Moody thing, I'm like, there's something going on here.
I think that there was, and especially to go back, you just mentioned Richard Hightower. When that happened, when that signing occurred, when we started to see him in the locker room, and we asked Richard Hightower about it, he was completely defensive about it, as in like repeating, I'll say it again, this organization tries to identify good players and put good players into the locker room. Nobody wanted to say anything as it pertained to Cairo Santos, but that's just, to me, that's just symbolic of the way this organization is beginning to do business in a better way.
Doing it the right way now,
They're doing
right?
it the right way. Yeah, you can't have a kicker in this
And you got to
year.
keep the confidence. I mean, the kicker, the 6 inches between the 2 ears is a lot. You know, you got to keep him confident. You got to keep him pumped up and all that kind of stuff. So I thought they handled it very well. But in the back, I was just kind of like, what's going on here? I've never seen this happen before. So
Well, and to use a roster spot, when they
Yeah,
had
that was the other
so
thing,
many
yes.
injured players,
Yeah.
you know, the secondary at the time was incredibly injured. To use a roster spot on that, you know there had to have been some sort of reason.
yeah, let's just hope he figures it out. Like I said, I mean, you miss a kick, you hope to make the next 10 or 12 in a row. So let's make the next 10 or 12 in a row and see what goes on from there.
In a game like this, where we obviously know it could come down to a kick at the end, I mean, what's your confidence level right now?
He's done it before.
Okay,
I believe in him.
That's
I
what
believe
that's
in him.
we're
He's a
leaning into
veteran.
that.
I
part
believe
of
in
it.
him. Yeah,
Okay.
I just do wonder if he walked out there, man, this is only a 35-yarder of cold, and he missed it. I mean, that's fine. If you miss a kick in a 31-3 win, I'm okay with that. Just don't miss it on a Saturday night.
Okay, worst experience playing against the Green Bay Packers. Did you write that on your list
Yeah,
when you woke up today?
Yeah, I did. 2013 was my last game when we lost that game when Randall Cobb.
Oh,
And I kind of knew it was going to be my last game, and I took
holy cow!
I
I
took a picture of like my pregame meal the night before, and I kind of just documented everything that was going through that day.
Your last game.
That was my last game.
That's wild.
Yeah, and I saw that
Tragic.
because I thought for sure we were going to go to the playoffs. I was like, all right, I get to win my last game at Soldier Field. We're going to go to the playoffs, and that happened. And I walked off the field a little slower, took my pads off a little slower, took a picture of my locker. I still have like the day documented on my phone, and yeah, so that was the worst one.
Did you know you were going to retire at the beginning of that season?
No. My
it
hip was that bad. I knew it, but it just continually got worse, and I had surgery at the end of the season, hoping to come back, but it just didn't take.
We saw Patrick pop up at the score more and more. That's why I was
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? Oh, this guy's showing up in person.
Ah,
He's
yeah.
like,
Hey, Mitch, you need some radio hits? I'm ready to do this.
The side hustle becomes the main hustle. That's how it works.
Always thinking about the future.
But I think that's a good discussion too, because this is the time of year, you know, December, where no team is 100%, and
Right.
we just saw some of the biggest names in the league go down. You know, ACLs take out Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons. How much do you think about that at this time of the year? I'm sure as a former player, it's on your mind.
You do a little bit if you're out of it. If you're in it, you don't at all. I mean, because you're thinking about your off season. A little selfishly, you're thinking about, I don't want to do rehab. And if you get injured this late in the year, it seeps into the next year, like you see with Micah Parsons and Mahomes. So, I mean, to be honest, you think about it a little bit. A quick story. I think Shane Matthews was he was our quarterback. We lost to Detroit. He broke his thumb. one of the last drives of the game, of the last game of the year. And I remember walking up the tunnel up in Detroit, and he was cussing. And I'm like, man, sorry about your thumb. He's like, no, I'm not going to be able to play golf for a while. It screws up my off season.
That's hilarious, man.
Already
But that
thinking
was
about
Shane,
it.
yeah.
Is that close to in the family of, in the category of Nate Davis telling me they had to go play ping pong? Like,
A little bit,
I don't
yeah.
have time for this
But at
right
least
now.
Shane was
Yeah.
playing, right? Nate
Yeah.
didn't play.
Yeah. I told you that story, right, Layla?
You told me. Does Patrick know?
I know
Oh,
that
you know the
story.
Nate
Oh,
Davis
yeah,
story.
we talked a lot about that
Yeah,
one.
he
That's
told me
just,
really.
yeah.
He told me he didn't have time to talk because he had to go play ping pong.
How
But he-
bad is it when you're his age and you didn't get a job this year in the league?
Yeah, I mean,
Does
it's
he
really
care?
bad. Well, it's just, that's Ryan Poles. It's a swing and a miss. But I think right now what we've seen with what Ryan Poles has done, he's done a lot better than swinging and missing.
We don't have
he's
to
done a
talk about
really
the
nice
draft, do we?
Is
No.
his comeback tour? We're watching it live, and I got to tell you, at least from a draft perspective, it's looking pretty good. The comeback tour for
Well,
Ryan
it is
Poles.
because the plan we looked at, I didn't like it at all. And Olin jokes because he made a 7-on-7 team, and then all of a sudden now he's made a 9-on-7 team with what he did with the O-line. And then now you're looking at building that 7-on-7 team. You have 2 injuries at wide receiver. Mark, like we just said, I'm not that uncomfortable who they're putting out there.
Yeah.
They're putting guys that have
Exactly.
35 and 25 starts at year 6 and 7 who are pros, who are going to be in the right spot and do the right thing.
You know what it shows, and Olin was on this, of course. It shows that center has absolutely become as crucial as a left tackle.
Yes, no, 1,000%, especially with a young quarterback. That communication, understanding protections and where you need to go, and it's huge. And I think that has helped Caleb's development as well and Ben Johnson's offense and learning as quickly as
Who was
as
a
he
better
has.
quarterback, Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, man, that is
You
a
were up
good
front close
question.
for both of them.
I was in awe of Favre because I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was more fun to
Gunslinger.
watch.
He,
yes.
he was. I hated him.
Yes.
Because I was way more fan back then.
Yeah,
Those
I was
days.
more of a fan of Favre, and
And
I got to
Rodgers
know
more
Aaron. I
annoying,
played
right?
golf with Aaron a lot when he was younger, so I
Really?
got to know Aaron decently when he was younger. So that was more of just somebody I knew and played with. But Favre was, if I got a chance to be a captain and be out there and just look at him, I'm like, that's Brett Favre. Oh my God,
And not
that's
afraid
Brett
to
Favre.
turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's true,
No,
too.
A billion
no.
interceptions his first
No,
couple years in
and
the
honestly, I
league.
love too is the way he smiled. He played 1,000 miles an hour. He had fun. He was like playing backyard ball.
Yeah, which really angered me at the time. Like in the Super Bowl that he just won the one Super Bowl, and he like ran 100 yards across the field. Do you remember that? Like
Yes.
he looked like a little
Yes.
kid. I was like,
Yes.
that mother.
One story I love is when Urlacher, I think it was his rookie, yeah, it'd be his rookie year. Urlacher was on a blitz, and Favre was rolling out towards our bench, and obviously I was standing on our sideline a lot. He rolled over right toward us, and Favre looks over his left shoulder, pats the ball, and goes to throw it. Next thing you know, he's flat on his back. Urlacher crushed him.
Uh-huh.
Favre jumped up and looked at him and was like, oh, I got a new guy to deal with. He thought he had time to get that little extra pump and throw a deep ball, and Urlacher
Yeah.
had that speed to get there. And that was a cool moment for me as a fan or being right there on the field to see Brett Favre recognize Brian Urlacher and be like, oh,
That's
I've got to
amazing.
deal with this
That's
guy
a
now.
different cat.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I think I just got goosebumps.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was pretty cool.